one of the flaws, we look at these giants of our faith today. We look at these biblical characters that we all grew up wanting to be. If you're in VBS or whatever, or you've seen them illustrated in the family Bibles, these, the Moses and the Noah and the Elijah and all these incredible men of God, and we perceive that they had it all together all the time. This was inaccurate. We think that Elijah was this varsity, pro prayer and kingdom warrior, and because he called down fire to consume his sacrifice on an altar, and then went Jason Bourne on 400 prophets of Baal, right? And let's just be honest, Elijah is a bad dude, okay? He's a beast. But Elijah didn't have it all together. Later in the scriptures, Elijah prayed that God would kill him, that he would let him die because he thought he was the only one serving the Lord. He thought because he was out on this island of righteousness, this island pursuing Jesus, and no one else was following suit, and he had no real fruit of his ministry, that he felt that it would be better to die. He prayed this to the Lord. You see, Elijah didn't know what to pray for at times. However, James 5 tells us something very important. James 5 tells us that Elijah was weak, but he prayed to a God who was strong. That's important. Let's talk about Moses for a second. Moses was a boss, right? Moses jumped in the ring with the most powerful man on the planet at the time, Pharaoh. And not only did he jump in the ring with him and kind of just lay on the ropes or something, but dude jumped in and squared off with him and said, look, let God's people go. Let God's people go. He spoke and rained down these plagues on Egypt until Pharaoh tapped out. He walked up to the Red Sea and it parted. That man has experienced incredible just providence and God's moving through him. Also, though, thought that he was not able to be used because he couldn't string together a sentence, because he wasn't eloquent enough of speech, because he stuttered, or he didn't have a Barry White voice, as Travis was talking about. He didn't have a good preaching voice. He didn't have this incredible, he didn't have it all together. You see, the greatest heroes of our faith didn't do incredible things because they were strong. Let's get that straight. These incredible heroes of our faith didn't do incredible things because they were strong. These heroes that we read about, every one of them were jacked up, and in their weakness, they leveraged a God who was strong, who was able. See, these men, they were all flawed. Hudson Taylor said something incredible I read this week. He said, all God's giants have been weak men who did great things for God because they reckoned that God was with them. I'm going to read that for you again. It says, all God's giants have been weak men who did great things for God because they reckoned that God was with them.